These are some tough acts to follow today. It's an amazing honor to be here. I love learning. Ever since I was a kid, I've spent my life following my curiosities, asking questions, and seeking the truth. But for a long time, I didn't equate school with learning. By the time I was 15, I had attended 10 public schools in 4 states. Changing schools every year meant a new curriculum every year and new friends every year. Eventually, I withdrew from the entire process and dropped out after barely squeaking through the 9th grade. Anytime I would consider returning to school, the first question would be, will I be here in a year? But to be truthful, my attitude towards returning to school ranged from disinterest to outright hostility. There was a time when I believed I was better off without school. But several years ago, my thinking changed in a dramatic way. I became interested in a subject that I couldn't understand or explain to myself. The reason why I returned to school is gravity. It's true. I think about gravity all the time. What keeps the planets in their orbits? Why does gravity obey the inverse square law? What is the inverse square law? Before I started asking myself these questions, I'd been able to teach myself pretty much anything. If I wanted to learn about something, I would read about it. But science presented a unique challenge. On one hand, I could read about concepts and their consequences in the popular publications, but the truth of these descriptions must be taken as a matter of faith. I could choose to believe one idea or another, but this process is entirely intuitive. On the other hand, reading scientific literature required a level of mathematical and intellectual sophistication that I did not yet possess. Sir Isaac Newton answered some of these questions over 300 years ago in his great work, The Principia, inventing calculus in the process. But Newton's work was written in terms of Euclidean geometry and was therefore largely inaccessible to me. To be fair, the Principia was written in Latin, so it's not likely that I'll ever read his original words. But this path led me to the inescapable conclusion that I had reached the limits of my ability for self-education. I decided that the only way to get to the bottom of these questions and to get to the bottom of these questions was to learn the math and figure it out for myself. If I was going to understand the works of Newton and the other great minds of science, I was going to need a formal education. So in the spirit of inquiry, I enrolled in Fullerton College. I chose Fullerton because this is a community that I consider myself a part of, and it's a place that I'm happy to call home. I'm entering my 3rd year at Fullerton College, a milestone that marks the longest time I've ever spent at a single school. I'm working towards AS degrees in mathematics and physics with the goal of transferring to a UC to earn degrees in math, physics, and philosophy. I've been lucky to have some incredible instructors since I've been here. The level of dedication exhibited by the faculty and staff here at Fullerton College cannot be overstated. I firmly believe that my own success is directly tied to the quality of support I've received since being here. And not just in the classroom, but from campus support, such as the Math Lab, the Writing Center, EOPS, and Disabled Student Services. One person who's had an enormous impact on my direction and success here at Fullerton College is not a math teacher or a science teacher, as influential as they have been, but a writing teacher, Annie Little. I've taken 3 classes with Annie, English 60, English 100, and English 280 last semester, where I trained to be a writing tutor. So just by sheer volume, Annie has been in a position to make an impact. But no single class would be more important for my academic development than English 60. For most students, high school is a foundation from which they build their college career. For me, in a big way, it was English 60. Not only was 60 where I learned the basic fundamentals of composition, but also where I learned about the growth mindset and the work that Dr. Powers has done to introduce the growth mindset onto campus. The growth mindset changed my entire approach to learning. It formalized my belief that effort, not ability, is the key to academic success, and taught me to embrace struggle as a critical element to the growth process. But it wasn't Annie's lesson plans that had the most influence. Through countless office hours with each writing assignment, Annie worked with me every step of the way as I wrote and rewrote drafts and developed a writing process from scratch. Annie's positivity and encouragement inspired me to do more than earn a grade. I was motivated to improve both as a writer and as a student. Without Annie's guidance, I don't write essays that earn the recognition of the English department. Without her encouragement to do more, I may have never taken English 103 and recognized the importance of philosophy in my chosen field. And without her recruitment, it's doubtful that I would have become a writing tutor. These things were not in the plans, yet they were absolutely critical to my development. The truth is, Annie is just doing her job, but she does it so well that it literally helped shape my success and my future. It's no exaggeration to say that Annie's a big reason that I'm standing here today. So I'm honored to have the opportunity to recognize her for her commitment and dedication. And thank you, Annie, for everything you've done.
Ask that each of our student speakers and future leaders join us again on stage, as well as the faculty and staff who were acknowledged today. Please join us in the center of the stage.